Hello, guys. Welcome to Barry and Peps Being the No. I'm your host, Vale Chikuni. Today, we're doing a follow-up of the video that I already did. Please be sure to check it out. Ben Shapiro, fed up with Candace Owens. Boy, was I a prophet. It turns out what I was suspecting, everything was pretty much quite true. What has happened? Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro, they've taken their fights now in public, okay? They're arguing, they're fighting in public on Twitter. So they've been going back and forth on Twitter. So without further ado, we're just going to jump into it. That way you can see what is going on between Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro. All right, here we go. So, as I already shared yesterday, Candace Owens had put out this tweet, okay? Quoting scripture, quoting Matthew. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God, the Beatitudes. So Candace Owens was quoting this. And Ben Shapiro responded, Candace, if you feel that taking money from the Daily Wire somehow comes between you and God, by all means, quit. So Ben Shapiro is not pulling any punches, just like, okay, by all means, quit. And Candace Owens decided to respond, okay? She says, and I quote over here, okay? You guys, I'm sure you can see this. You have been acting unprofessional and emotionally unhinged for weeks. For weeks now. And we have all had, and we have all had to sit back and allow it and have it all try to exercise exceeding understanding for your raw emotion. But you cross a certain line when you come for scripture and read yourself into. Okay? And read yourself into it. I will not tolerate it. This is Candace Owens responding to Ben Shapiro. All right. So what has been, this is what has transpired, okay? Is Candace Owens, as much as she wants to deny it, she put out the scripture subtweeting Ben Shapiro. Because Ben Shapiro, as you know, he's a Jewish American and has been reporting extensively what's happening between Israel and Gaza. And Candace Owens, she has talked about it, but clearly she's not knowledgeable about this geopolitical that goes on in Israel and Gaza. So it seems like Ben Shapiro is keeping up for his own people. But if you do know what's going on in the Middle East, if you follow those things, there is no need to be entertaining what's happening in Gaza by any stretch of imagination. That does not mean that, okay, there isn't innocent people suffering in Gaza. But you have to understand, it is Hamas. The Palestinians have put their own people in harm's way. That's just a fact. Even Bill Clinton and even Hillary Clinton, okay? These people, you have even the Democrats, the hardcore Democrats, who can actually see, like, no, Israel, they have a right to defend themselves. So as much as Candace has decided not to talk about this, she had a guest on who pretty much corrected her on a whole bunch of things that Candace should have known. For instance, she said she went to Israel and then she saw Arab quarters. To her, that did not sit well with her because that means that they're living in segregation, which is not true. That's just the terminology that they use out there, okay? We know there's areas where it'll be like, oh, this is, there's a lot of black people who live here. There's a lot of Latina people who live here. There's a lot of Spanish people who live here. We understand, but that doesn't mean there's segregation going on. So Candace has proven that she's not knowledgeable about what's going on over here. So Candace had a sit down with Tucker Carlson where they even went deeper to be talking about this situation, okay? But I want you guys not to miss this thing that Candace Owens put out, okay? So, for example, if you see what Candace Owens says here, right? She says, we have all had to sit back and allow it, and have all tried to exercise exceeding understanding for your raw emotion. What does Candace mean by saying we? So there's a couple people over there which means is people within the Daily Wire organization who are on Candace's side, and they feel like, okay, Ben Shapiro, he's unhinged, he's unprofessional, and he's been acting emotional and unhinged. Even if there's people within Daily Wire who have issues, there's no need for Candace to be bringing those people. She's the one who's having this fight with Ben Shapiro. So why are you using the pronoun we? Why can't you just take it between you and Ben Shapiro? If you're going to bring in the other people, the we, you need to mention who are these people within the Daily Wire. Who are they? Okay, who are they? So as much as Candace wants to deny that the scripture she put out there, it wasn't about Ben Shapiro, she was just quoting the scripture. It is not true if you've been following this story. That was clearly subtweeting Ben Shapiro and using the scripture. That is not the way we use the scripture, okay? You do not use scripture in order to subtweet somebody in that particular way. That's you using the scripture in the way that you're not supposed to use scripture, but you want to hide behind that, oh, what's wrong with me quoting scripture? Are you standing in the way for me quoting scripture? You see what I'm saying? Like, no. If you was just quoting the scripture for the sake of quoting scripture, nobody will have a problem with it. But if you're using scripture to advance your issues that you have with Ben Shapiro, that is a problem. That is a problem. So, yeah, man, you said you cannot save two masters because, she went, because that's what the scripture teaches, right? She couldn't. No one can save the Beatitudes. No one can save two masters. Either you hate the one and love the other, or you be devoted to the one despising the other. You cannot save both God and money. And then, Christ is king. Okay? Added that, adding to that issue that Christ is king. Of course, Christ is king. We understand that. We're amening to that. But using that to advance the issues that she is experiencing with Ben Shapiro, that's a no-no. That's a no-no. So the things did not stop there, if you can believe it. Candace Owens didn't have her show, but she had a sit-down with none other than Tucker Carlson. Okay? So Candace Owens had a sit-down with Tucker Carlson where she was able to, share. It's a long video. I'll leave the link. You guys can watch it. Where she shared the situation that she's experiencing at Daily Wire. Okay? So I'm going to play the clip with you. But before I play it, I did like what Steve D said. Okay? Candace Owens responds to a clip of Ben Shapiro criticizing her. Ben and I have many disagreements. We disagreed on COVID vaccine, Ukraine, Russia, and Big Pharma. Tucker is just a little weird. So he was on the left on the three biggest issues of our time, okay? So what is that, a background on that particular issue? Ben Shapiro was all about the vaccines, okay? He got vaccine. I think he got his family vaccinated. Candace Owens was always against the vaccine. And that means, just because Ben Shapiro was wrong in 3, 4, 5 things, right? That doesn't mean that he's wrong in this situation just because he's covering this situation that's happening in Israel and just because, he's a Jew, okay? That's not what's happening over here. Yes, call Ben out that he was wrong about the vaccine, all those things. That's a fair game. But in this situation, I feel like Candace Owens, just because she's not knowledgeable about what's going on in Israel, she's just thinking that, Ben is doing too much. But, I didn't see Candace Owens behave like that when it came to BLM and other things that Ben Shapiro is hardcore on. So let's just take a listen real quick to what transpired between this interview, Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. Here we go.
The internet was dominated yesterday by video of Ben Shapiro, who you work with at the Daily Wire, I think it's fair to say, attacking you. Here's the video. I just want to get your reaction to it.
Yes, the question was about Candace Owens. I think her behavior during this has been disgraceful. Without a doubt. I can't Yeah, she still works for my company. I think she's been absolutely disgraceful. I think that her faux sophistication on these particular issues has been ridiculous. It's not those sophistication, it's ridiculous. Everybody can see the moves that she's making and the things that she's saying, and I find them disreputable.
So maybe there's a point in the video where he explains what exactly you did wrong and how you were wrong. I haven't seen it. But to call somebody, quote, absolutely disgraceful, particularly a coworker, seems like a pretty big step. What? And I really don't know the background here. What is that about?
You know, there isn't much of a background. I saw the video when everybody else saw it when I woke up.
No one warned you about it.
Nobody warned me about it. It looks like maybe he didn't know he was being recorded. It looks like it was some sort of a private event. I got no clarity on.
To be fair, whatever that event was, Ben Shapiro was responding to a question that he was asked. I don't think he was like, okay, I'm going to have this exclusive function where I'm going to be talking about Candace. If he wants to do that, he has a platform at Daily Wire. He can just do that. This is not the first time that Candace and Ben Shapiro have gone back and forth. If you remember what happened with the Kanye West situation, they also went back and forth, and they always take their fights outside. I'm like, okay, you know, if these are issues between co-workers, sort it out at work. Why you bring it to the public? And like, yes, Candace is a public figure. Ben Shapiro is a public figure. So whatever they do, whatever they say, it's fair game. And all these things are playing on public. But notice the way Tucker Carlson is asking the question. I'm like, okay, Tucker. Okay.
The issue that he was particularly speaking on, and in what was said, I can't respond to it beyond what he's saying because it's just ad hominem attacks. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's not, we disagree, or I don't think she's correct, or maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about. It's absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, exactly. And so I can't respond to it on a level of intellect because there's nothing that he has expressed in that, at least in that short clip, that he fundamentally disagrees with in terms of what I said. But I will say that I'm not going to respond with the same ad hominem attacks. Yes. I don't think it helps further discussion. And if that was me that was caught on a video saying that about colleagues that I work with, I would be embarrassed. So I think that the video speaks more to Ben's character than it speaks to mine.
Has he texted you to apologize?
No, wrong. Look how Candace Owens wants to play like a victim over here. I just shared with you the tweets that Candace Owens has been responding, going back and forth with Ben Shapiro. So she's able to tweet. She's able to go back and forth with Ben Shapiro. Now, all of a sudden, Candace wants to tell us that, there's no way that she'll be able to respond to Ben Shapiro. No, she cannot respond to Ben Shapiro because the arguments that they're having, they're having issues between what's happening in Israel and Palestine. Candace, I'm sorry, she's not aware of what's going on over there. She's just not schooled about this issue. So yeah, it behooves her not to even to argue with Ben Shapiro about that particular issue. So right now, playing like a victim, like, oh no, I'm not going to respond and everything, it's not good for you to talk like that about your coworker. No, Candace, and this is the same mistake that she did with Meghan Kelly, right? Meghan Kelly was just, you know what? There's no way I'll be hiring these students. They're protesting, they're doing all these particular things, right? If you want to hire them, you be the one hiring them. People in college, these are adults. I can understand some people, yes, I granted that they're brainwashed. Some people, you can tell that they have no clue because they're out there, queers for Palestine. I see somebody like that, I'm like, you have no clue, you're ignorant. Because if you knew about what's going on over there, if you know what happens to people who proclaim to be LGBTQ, whatever, you be the last person claiming, cues for Palestine, things of that nature. So yes, there are people in there who are ignorant, but trust and believe, there's people there who know exactly what they're doing, and they do infiltrate these colleges so they can advance their agenda. That's exactly what's going on.
Apologize or explain or anything?
No, nothing. I haven't heard a single word. It just was sort of something that he said. And you know what? Ben and I have many disagreements, so I don't think that that's particularly something that's interesting. We disagreed on the COVID vaccine. We disagree on Ukraine and Russia. He has taken virtually every stance that has been the opposite of mine on every issue over the last 5 years. So I don't think that that's particularly remarkable.
Vaccine. Really, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, he was pro the COVID vaccine. I was anti the vaccine. We were all idiots for not getting the vaccine. So that's totally fine. I am totally open to people having a difference in opinion.
Right.
I would hope that amongst colleagues that it would always be civil disagreement, and I would never in a private event stand on a table and talk badly about Ben.
It's a little weird. So he was on the left on those three biggest issues of our time, is what you're saying?
He has converted his opinions. He's accepted responsibility. He said, I was wrong about the vaccine.
Oh, good.
He is, obviously pro-pharma. His mom's a doctor. And I say to people,
Okay, so on that one, Steve Dicey put this out on Twitter. So shout out to Steve Dicey. called out Tucker Carlson. Tucker, why are you so comfortable, I'm paraphrasing, asking Candace Owens about the vaccine? You had an opportunity, a sit down, exclusive sit down with President Donald Trump, and you never asked him about the vaccine. And yet Donald Trump is the father of the vaccine. So I'm like, you know what? That's actually a very good point. That's actually a very good point. You didn't ask Donald Trump. He was out there promoting warp speed the whole 9 years. And he never asked those questions to Donald Trump. But yes, Ben Shapiro was pro-vaccine. He regrets about all those things, which is fair game if people want to attack him about that. But this one, Tucker Carlson, just like, no, if you're serious about these people who were doing these vaccines, okay, Ben was on the wrong side about this vaccine, and so was Donald Trump. How come you never asked that question to Donald Trump? That's fair. But we continue.
Very aware of my perspectives on Big Pharma, and
Yes.
I talk about it on my show openly, and I think that that's a tremendous credit to the Daily Wire that they allow a difference of opinions. But as I said, hope that it would remain respectful.
Yep.
And that you wouldn't throw your colleagues under a bus, so to speak, in a private setting.
I think that's fair. And just for clarity, because I really don't know, is he your boss? Does he?
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about Ben's involvement. He's not the CEO of the Daily Wire. He
Yes.
is not making the day decisions of the Daily Wire. And I do want to make it very clear, because people are like, how could you possibly save Daily Wire after this? I have a very good relationship with the co-CEOs of the Daily Wire. Especially right now, the acting CEO is Caleb Robinson. He's a wonderful person. He's worked very hard to be where he's at. We have a lot in common that we connect on. And so people don't get to see that, which is unfortunate. Ben lives in Florida. He's not a part of the day-to-day movement of the Daily Wire. The rest of the hosts have their shows situated in Nashville. So we see each other every day. We talk. There's great camaraderie. Yes. And there's actually more agreement. There's actually a lot of people that are, as I describe myself, just pro-America first. And I think I've been that way consistently throughout my political career. Whether people agree with it or not in different moments is up for debate. But I don't want that video to become a reflection of how the Daily Wire works and the Daily Wire operates, because I have had.
Okay, so I don't to me, that's good to know that I'm aware that Ben lives in Florida and he operates from Florida. But Ben Shapiro does own Daily Wire. Ben Shapiro and Jeremy, I forgot his name, right? He is the part owner of Daily Wire. So whosoever is running the Daily Wire, I'm sure that they do report to Ben Shapiro and Jeremy. In other words, even if Ben Shapiro is not involved on day-to-day at Nashville, he's still at the top of food chain than Candace Owens. So whatever is happening in the office, obviously, people are going to have their colleagues, whatever, that is fine. It's still not in Candace's best interest to be having this feud public like that with somebody who has a say in a company that you work for. She definitely has a right to do whatever else she wants. But to me, I'm like, okay, if somebody if somebody has a say in your contract, if somebody is involved in one way or the other, I don't know, it's just me. It's just like an old person. I'll be like, okay, I'll be wise in the fights that I get myself into, okay? It's fine if they disagree. It's all right. It's fine to be disagree. And clearly, they do disagree. It's okay. Those are the things that you can be doing. But that's just a fair game. So just because you disagree with him on this issue, should we sit over here and pretend like, okay, Candace Owens has always looked the other way every time Ben has done something? And putting out that scripture was a subtweet to Ben Shapiro. So in essence, she's the one who started this particular fight, if you've been following what has been going on. But let's finish up.
Had a very good experience with the CEOs, and love Michael Knowles, love Matt Walsh, Andrew Klavan. We all get along really great.
Well, it certainly speaks well to the Daily Wire then. So it's not, a clip like that on the internet, Candace Owens is out or something. That's not, doesn't sound like that's what it means at all.
Yeah, no, it's a small group of people. We see each other every day. Right. Brett Cooper is another one who just joined about 2 years ago. She's great. She's up and coming. And there's a lot of stuff that we're working on. And that's why I think this video is even more unfortunate, because people see him as a figurehead, rightfully so, of the Daily Wire. And it allows people to, speak energy into the Daily Wire that isn't necessarily there, because he's not there on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, that's very interesting. So if we...
All right, so there you have it. Candace Owens speaking to Tucker Carlson. And from what I've seen, this thing seems like it's going full steam ahead with, she's under contract. So I don't think, plus, she has a program over there. There's people who work for her. There's a lot that goes on. But they've been going back and forth on Twitter, and there was people who were saying like Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro, they were just like these two cannot coexist working together. It's definitely a problem. So you can imagine, even if the fact Ben is operating from Florida, right? But he's still having these issues with Candace Owens, who is operating from Nashville. So can you imagine if they were actually in the same building, how the dynamics of it? But all this is playing up on Twitter. So stay tuned. We'll be here to make sure that you guys are fully informed so you don't have to miss anything at all. All right, guys, that is all that I had for you guys today. I hope you find this to be informative to you. Be sure to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Berean Babes. Until next time, remember to be in the know. Thank you.